Between the hills, the stars, the sky, the river so clear, river so clear.
Welcome to the home of Unitarian Universalism in Bismarck, Mandan. In our Unitarian Universalist community, we celebrate diversity of beliefs, and we are guided by 7 principles which are printed on your order of service and can be found on our website. As we gather this morning, we acknowledge that we are in a place with a long history. We are in a place to which Nueta, Hidatsa, Sanish, Dakota, Lakota, Tistista, and Anishinaabe people all claim belonging, connection, and deep knowledge. In recognizing all that and those who came before us, may we honor who and where we are today and find our way to be in right relationship here. My name is Christine Kujawa, member of this fellowship, as well as the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Larger Fellowship, and I will be facilitating this morning's service. Let us join in a spirit of meditation, reflection, or prayer as we deepen into our service and share our opening words for this morning from Wayne B. Arneson, retired Unitarian Universalist minister, read by Pat.
We come together today seeking a reality beyond our narrow selves that binds us in compassion, love, and understanding to other human beings and to the interdependent web of all living things. May our hearts and minds be opened to the power and insight that we weave together the scattered threads of our experience and help us remember the wholeness of which we are a part.
We join Unitarians and Unitarian Universalists all over the world in lighting our chalice. Would Don please come up to light the chalice, which is a symbol of the spark of life in each of us. If you're on Zoom and have your chalice with you, I invite you to turn on your video to share while we light them. We're in good company. Our chalice lighting words are from Viola Abbott, minister at Coastal Virginia Unitarian Universalist in Virginia Beach, Virginia. As we light the chalice and fully embrace the sacred space created here this morning, hold in your hearts the Unitarian Universalist principle, which calls upon us to respect the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Light this chalice in honor of the animal realm, furred and hoofed, two-legged, four-legged, many-legged, fanged and clawed, gentle and fierce, wild and tame. May we remember that all animals are our relatives, worthy of our care and respect. We honor and make stronger that web which connects us all. So this morning's service, 7th principle, honoring our animals, will provide us with an opportunity to consider and think deeper about our relationship to our 7th principle. Respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Through readings and essays, a short meditation, and an honoring of animals ceremony at the end. Unitarian Universalists hold 7 principles as strong values and moral teachings. As Reverend Barbara Wells Tenhove explains, the principles are not dogma or doctrine, but rather a guide for those of us who choose to join and participate in Unitarian Universalist communities. We share a living tradition of wisdom and spirituality drawn from many sources. The 7 principles and 6 sources of the Unitarian Universalist Association grew out of grassroots inquiries of our faith communities, were affirmed democratically, and are a part of who we are. Unitarian Universalism acknowledges that reality consists of a complex and interconnected web of relationships. Actions taken seemingly in isolation can still have far-reaching effects, and responsible behavior includes being mindful of these potential consequences. In our 7th principle, we broadly define that web of all existence. It includes one's community and environment, and some refer to the spirit of life. It is all-encompassing and helps each individual understand society, culture, and nature while trying to support it where they can. The following is an excerpt from an essay by Reverend Forrest Gilmore, published in the book, The 7 Principles in Word and Worship. Our 7th principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence, is a glorious statement. Yet we make a profound mistake when we limit it to merely an environmental idea. It is so much more. It is our response to the great dangers of both individualism and oppression. It is our solution to the seeming conflict between the individual and the group. I'm going to say this slowly so I pronounce it correctly. The psychologist Csikszentmihalyi wrote, "One cannot lead a life that is truly excellent without feeling that one belongs to something greater or more permanent than oneself." This is one conclusion that is common to all the various religions that have given meaning to people's lives. Unitarian Universalism is no exception. Our faith has been wise to reject the rigidity of fundamentalism and to stand against false understandings of the holy. Yet in our zeal for rejecting conservative theologies, we fail to be equally wary of the harms of individualism. In our struggle for freedom, we may have given up on something vitally important to our lives, a dedication to something greater than ourselves alone. Sociologist Robert Bala spoke to this point at the annual General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association in 1998. He said, "I don't think we can challenge individualism until we come to see that the sacredness of the individual depends ultimately on our solidarity with all being, not on the vicissitudes of our private selves." He then wonderfully challenged us to give up our individualism and make respect for the interdependent web of all existence. The first of your principles and not the last. Our 7th principle may be our Unitarian Universalist way of coming to fully embrace something greater than ourselves. The interdependent web, expressed as the spirit of life, the ground of all being, the oneness of all existence, the community forming power, the process of life, the creative force, even God, can help us develop that social understanding of ourselves that we and our culture so desperately need. It is a source of meaning to which we can dedicate our lives. Ecologist John Seed describes this source of meaning in his essay, Beyond Anthropocentrism. When humans investigate and see through their layers of anthropocentric self-cherishing, a most profound change in consciousness begins to take place. Alienation subsides. The human is no longer an outside apart. Your humanness is then recognized as merely the most recent stage of your existence, and you start to get in touch with yourself as a mammal, as vertebrae, as a species only recently emerged from the rainforest. As the fog of amnesia disperses, there is a transformation in your relationship to other species and in your commitment to them. I am protecting the rainforest develops to, I am part of the rainforest protecting myself. I am that part of the rainforest recently emerged into thinking. What a relief then. The 1,000 of years of imagined separation are over, and we begin to recall our true nature. Now pause for a 2-minute meditation. Close your eyes and slow your breathing in and out. And these words from Reverend Laura Kim Joyner, community minister in UU Multi-Species Ministry and Compassionate Communication. From hearts and minds into our hands, may blessings flow. Around and around this circle of friends, may blessings flow. Around and around our beloved earth, may blessings flow. We belong to the forest. We belong to the waters. We belong to the plants and animals. We belong to the people. We belong to the earth. We belong to the stars. Therein lies the power of our interdependent web. The 7th principle is so much more than an environmental idea. In this statement lies a profound hope for healing of the world. We stand at a turning point in human history. With the growing disparity between the rich and the poor, the increasing threats of war and terrorism, and the ongoing destruction of our planet's ecosystems, we are now making decisions that will determine whether humanity will live far into the future or come to an end. A change is being required of us as significant as the cultural, or industrial revolutions. A change that we have only decades to make. It affects how we behave, but even more fundamentally, how we think. John Seed's words help to explain this shift in consciousness, awareness that we are in fact part of the rainforest. Protecting ourselves has profound implications for our own choices. The cars we drive, the homes we live in, the work we do, the causes we support, for how we treat others who are also part of that rainforest. This time in our history will require enormous courage, and yet I have cause for hope. We are not alone. So many are awakening to our interdependent web in which we are all connected. We are approaching a critical mass for rapid change. Buddhist teacher and author Joanna Macy calls this the Great Turning, the time when we turn from an oppressive, wasteful society into a life-sustaining one, the time when future generations will celebrate with song and story the sacrifices we made and the gifts we gave to transform our society into a healing one. We're going to close the service with an honoring of the animals ceremony, symbolic of the bond and connection between us and the non-humans in our lives. And I invite you to come up to the microphone, share with us your animal friend's name or names, their species and something special about them. And I'll light a candle in their honor. And if you have photos or special items representing them, I'll add them to the display, and I'll start off. I have photos of my cat, my dog, maybe Sky and Zoe will be up here. And then my dog Daphne, who passed away about 5 years ago and was very special to me. So I'm going to keep her right up here, and I'll light a candle in their honor.
The first one is a dog that I had many years ago. Her name was Poochie. And that's my beagle, Toby. And those are my two miniature schnauzers, Annie and Lily. That's an Airedale Terrier, Willie. And another Airedale Terrier, Mac. And my third Airedale Terrier, Shunka. I love them all very much, and they love me.
As you can see, Cooper's very expressive. He's the most expressive dog I've ever had. But he's never bitten anybody. The picture belies that maybe, but so if I feed him on time, he's a happy dog. But as you can see, he didn't get any sausage on that day, so.
Well, we have two cats, not purebred, just common alley cats. One of the special things about them is they're both FIV positive, which is the cat version of AIDS. Their immune system doesn't work right, so they are strictly house cats. And this both protects them and protects other cats they might bite if they were out there loose. The other animals in my life are birds. I have a thing for cavity nesting birds and put up a lot of bird houses for the tree swallows, the house wrens, the black-capped chickadees, and the bluebirds, who otherwise have no place to live.
Sheltie, named Naya, was with us for 17 years and brought joy, certainly with our kids, and it was a lot of fun. enjoyed watching her do all sorts of crazy things. And then also, I'm thinking of sometimes we don't really realize how much there is in the non-human world. And my wife, Karen, is discovering that as she travels roads and places close to Bismarck the last 4 years, taking pictures of birds and deer and bison and all sorts of other things.
I have a long history of having multiple cats in my household to keep me company. And currently I only have one cat. And she has to put up with a cat sitter while I'm gone for months at a time. But I just have this favorite picture of her looking goofy on the couch that I like to show people because it's so delightful. And she can be a stinker. But last night I had trouble sleeping, and she took that as the opportunity to keep asking for more and more pets and cuddles and scritches. So that's my baby Scout.
This is the last pet I had. Hermes, he's a bearded dragon. I don't know if he's still alive. I found a new home for him. But it was, my daughter wanted him when she was in high school because the girl in front of her brought hers to class hidden under her scarf, and it crawled out during class, so she wanted to get one. And she promised to take care of it her whole life, but now since she came out here, had babies of her own, I had to find a new home for Hermes. I didn't get left with a dog, but I got left with a beardy dragon. And it was interesting how having a little animal in an apartment with me made me, the littlest thing that you have to feed and care for really makes you appreciate connection with another living being. And he's sitting in front of a doomtek, a Middle Eastern drum. So I'll leave him here with everybody.
We have a cat named Leonard, who's you've heard of cats getting the zoomies. That's him. And so he's very playful. And so if I don't play with him enough, he moans. So he'll go down the hallway and moan and howl. And when I leave for work in the morning, if I haven't played with him enough, he'll howl. And then Barb will tell me about it. And he also greets me at the door like a dog.
I'm going to share a story about, believe it or not, a parakeet. When I was a kid, we had a parakeet, and the cage door was always open. But at night, when we were going to bed, the parakeet's name was Jerry, and we'd say, "Good night, Jerry. Good night, Jerry." Okay, that was fine. The parakeet would fly to its own cage when it was ready to be covered for the night and say, "Good night, Jerry. Good night, Jerry." So.
The only pet I ever owned was a guppy in a jar, like nothing special, no tank or filter or anything. And it lived for years during college. I had this guppy, and then there was mysteriously a whole flock of little tiny guppies in that jar. And now it seems that my oldest is obsessed with it. She's at this age, 18, 19. She's obsessed with getting shrimp in a tank.
Okay, I'm just gonna light one final candle for all of our UU animals who are not represented here, as well as all of the animals and living beings that are around us in our community and throughout our planet. Ours is a world alive and allowed with the presence of creatures and critters. Animals abound, interwoven into our human lives and wholly interdependent. This interdependent web of all existence of which we are all a part. Some of us have known animals who have saved our very lives. Sometimes this is a metaphor, sometimes it's a literal fact. For so many of us, we are better human animals because we have known animals as part of our story. We give thanks for animal companionship in our lives and on this earth. We honor all animals. We honor those we know and love. We honor those unknown to us who have benefited our lives. We honor even the ones that can harm us, affirming with humility their place in the interdependent web. We affirm the impulse for humans to live in right relation with all other animals on this earth. May we honor our best presence as part of the animal family. We will extinguish our chalice with a reading from Reverend Norman V. Naylor. Reminded that we are part and participants of the universe, let us go forth from the quiet of this hour, encouraged to strive toward faithfulness to the best in ourselves, in others, and in the whole of creation.
And the world will be a better place, and the